10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the podcast from Doug Ground Up Productions with hosts Lady Miz and Ray. This is a universal platform, and there is nothing off limits. We talk about it all, and we keep it real. This is a no judgment zone, so come as you are. If you are a professional, entertainer, author, comedian, entrepreneur, or just someone who wants to get something off their chest, well, let your voice be heard here on From the Ground Up Productions. Sponsorship and other opportunities are available from the Ground Up Productions. Turning nothing into something. There's only one way to go from here. And now, here are your hosts, Lady Miz and Ray.
Yeah, y'all. What's poppin', y'all? What's good? Happy New Year's. Happy Monday. We are back again. It's your girl, Lady Miz, and my co-host, Ray. And you are tuned in to From the Ground Up Productions. There is only one way to go from here. What's poppin', people? It's been a minute. We've been on vacation, but it's all good in the hood. Yeah. Today, we are going to be talking about a trending topic. And this topic is about, you want to say what the topic is?
Really?
I'll put you on the spot. Okay, I'll say what the topic is. The topic of today is, was storming into the Capitol about race or about politics? We need to get to the bottom of this, and we need to know what y'all think out there. So when you get a moment, put your comments in the comment section because we want to know what y'all think. But let's get right into this conversation because I know you had a lot of things you wanted to get off of your chest, right? So let's get into it. So I'm going to ask you the first question. I want to know, what do you think about that? What do you think? Do you think that them storming into the Capitol was about race and racism, or do you think it was about politics, or both?
I would say it was about both. It was racism beefing about politics.
Okay, racism beefing about politics.
Racist beefing about politics.
Oh, okay.
Let's be clear about that. I said it wrong. It's racist beef about politics, and I say that because what these races were experiencing is what black people been going through for a long time. Feeling like their vote was not being counted, or their vote being, how do you say it? What's the voter suppression? That's the word. These white people, and I'm gonna be specific, so I don't want white people to be like, oh, not me. If you're not in that group that felt like the Capitol, I want to storm the Capitol. I ain't talking about you.
Right. Okay.
We're talking about the ones who got that attitude, the Trump voters who felt like, hey, he got cheated. Oh, maybe he did. But black people have been getting cheated for centuries.
So I guess, at the end of the day, so what you're saying is they're mad about something that they feel is happening to them for the very first time, but they can never acknowledge when it was happening to us. It didn't mean nothing at the time.
Basically.
But now that they feel it's happening to them, they going inside the Capitol and storming that shit, breaking shit down. People are dying. And do you think that media is finally calling them what they should be, which is thugs and terrorists, etc.? Or do you think they still are being very nice with the words that they use to describe these people?
It all depends on which news media you're watching.
Okay, so
if you're
that
watching like Fox News or something, they're pretending like they're mad by still having an excuse for why they're mad.
Okay, but that sounds biased though.
Yeah, it is.
So
unfortunately, the news is biased. It all depends on what you're listening to. Because if you're listening to black news is going to be pissed off. They're going to let you know, hey, that's fucked up.
Okay, all right.
And if it was black people, man, we would have got shot at the goddamn door. Honestly, I don't think we'd have made it that far up.
Okay, I was just about to say, because you said if it was black people, but one thing that I did notice when I was watching the news, which we already know, they control the information regardless, right? They're going to say what they want us to know. That's how I look at it. But I did hear, which I was very shocked for the first time. I was like, oh, wow. Biden came right out and was like, yo, if it was black people and Black Lives Matter, they would have been dead. Which I give him the applause for saying that, right? Big shout out to Joe Biden for making that statement. But the real truth of the matter is, You want to know what the truth of the matter is? Sometimes I have to wonder, was that statement just made because he want to make sure he keep the black people in his pocket because he know at this time it's still shaky when it comes to the president? I mean, he's going to be the president. We know that because Trump family just said, okay, he gonna pass it over to him. He passing him the baton. That's how I look at it, right? Yeah. But I feel when he said it was nice to hear the media family allow that type of rhetoric on the television and on the network. But I still have to wonder, is it coming from a sincere place? That's how I feel.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Black people get mad when we get a president that gets on stage and won't say anything like that. But
absolutely.
But then when they do, we're like, oh, he's not being real. Honestly, I would say it like this. Whether he's real or not, the message has to be heard. America has to hear it coming from the top and not just from us.
Yes.
Regardless of whether it's real or not, or we feel like he's being, or whether he's pandering or not, finally, it's being said by a president. Because even Obama wasn't out there. Only time Obama talked about something, a black issue, was when Trayvon Martin got shot, and he took a whole lot of flack for that, for mentioning if that was my son, you know, how I would feel if that was my son, you know?
Okay.
But, you know, to have a white president get up there and say, hey, this is what we wanted. This is what black people have been saying for a long time. We need somebody to get
say
up there
that
and say
shit.
it.
That's what we was saying.
Don't be scared to say it.
Right.
And now we can't be like, oh, well, he said it. He's pandering to us.
Well, I mean, listen, that's true, but the truth is he pandering? I'm going to say what it is. I'm not going to be like, oh, he said it, so I got to be like, oh, you know, it's nice. Yes, like I already gave him the round of applause and all that, but at the same time, it's like somebody telling you they love you, but they don't really love you, but they know that that's just what you want to hear. You understand?
But that's why we got to keep up with it. We got to make sure he stands to that.
Okay.
You know, we can't go, you know, and that's why I said I'm going to play devil's advocate, because we want him to say it, but we can't be like, oh, now that he said it, he's fake. No, we got to make sure that he stands to it. If that's what you really believe, you got to stand to it.
All right. Okay.
You know?
Well, let me ask you this. Right now, I've been seeing them talk about Trump getting impeached, right? So do you think that Trump is going to get impeached, and do you think that he should?
That's politics as usual. Honestly, I'm going to tell you, all of these guys just talk. It's a whole lot of talk. Honestly, I didn't even waste my time getting excited about or mad about either way on how it's going to go, because it's politics.
Okay.
They're just talking to keep everybody focused.
Distracted?
Yeah,
say that shit. Because you're saying focus. Is it focus or is it distracted? Which one is it?
It's a little of both. It's this keep you this keep Democrats focused on, hey, they're doing what they're supposed to do for us, while angering the Republicans. And then Republicans being, what they doing is, we're not gonna let it go through. And it's all talk. There's both sides. It's like wrestling. Like I always say, the wrestlers get in the ring, they fight with each other in front of everybody, and behind the scenes, they're giving high fives to each other like, yo, you shouldn't have did that. You shouldn't have did it that way.
Right. Just like how they do in the court system, right?
Yeah,
go to court, the DA, the lawyer, everybody, they all fighting in front of the judge and shit, and all of them go behind the scenes, and they all start talking and chopping it up with each other. You know what I mean? They eating lunch while your ass sitting there in the orange jumpsuit wondering who really got your back. Nobody. Anyway, let's get into this next thing about Black Lives Matter. So I want to talk about that real quick. So do you think that I hear them saying Black Lives Matter wouldn't have been able to go up there and been able to do that. How do you feel about seeing, they call them a mob, right? And it's funny that they use that term. I really pay attention to the terms that they use. But they said this mob. Why not just call them terrorists? Aren't they terrorizing shit? You know what I mean?
It all depends on where you call it, who's saying it. Because you got some people actually, like I said, it all depends on what news media you're watching. There are some news medias that's calling them terrorists.
Oh, okay. All right. So, good. They're calling them what they are then, basically.
It depends on who you're watching.
Okay. So, let me ask you, when it comes to Black Lives Matter, give me your take on, do you think that they would have been able to get that far in that building and be able to do that? How do you feel about that?
Man, they'd have never got that close.
Why not?
I give, was it June 2nd of last year?
Uh-huh.
June 2nd of last year, when they had the Black Lives Matter protest outside of the Capitol, National Guard was all the way around there making sure nobody got close to the Capitol.
So basically, what would have happened?
They'd have shot us.
That's what have happened, y'all. They would have been shot down. Basically, that's what would have went down if Black Lives Matter or black people, period, would have tried to pull that shit off right there. I was listening to a lady, and it was a meme, and she was like, because I seen them climbing all up on the walls and all types of shit. I was like, yo, what's going on? This lady said they look like 72 Spider-Men out that bitch. You know what I'm saying? That shit was funny as hell, but it's so true. And,
I'm going to be honest on that, the statement of calling them terrorists.
Okay.
I would say terrorists is too low of a bar because they're American. They were treasonous. But I think every single one of them should be treated like for treason. The way you would treat any American who turns on his country and starts to, if they'd have went after the president, what they did was treasonous.
Okay, all right, and that's coming from a military man, a vet himself. So,
yeah,
listen.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Okay.
What they did was a necessary evil.
What who did?
What they did, storming the Capitol. Do I agree with it?
Okay.
No.
So break that down. Why do you feel that it would have been a necessary evil?
It's a necessary evil if they would have been successful at it. The reason being is a lot for at least 50 years, these politicians have been playing each other against each other so that we vote for one or the other, the lesser of two evils.
Okay.
What's happened now is they're showing them, unfortunately they did it the wrong way, but they went in there showing them that you are vulnerable. And if you keep playing the games with American people, this is what's going to happen. Would you feel that with these, and I'm going to tell you why I say this, because if Black Lives Matter and the Trump supporters both have the same idea. They're both mad with the way the government is treating them. Do you know how much power, if they'd have put the racist bullshit aside and Black Lives Matter, all of them come together for the same cause?
Ain't gonna happen. I hate to stop you right there. Right. That ain't never gonna happen.
No, I'm saying to you, this is what I'm trying to tell you. If they'd came together for the same cause and stormed the Capitol, it would be a whole different. Because now
I get that, but it ain't happening though.
Why are you? I know it ain't gonna happen. What I'm trying to tell you is the outcome, and eventually it will. Is it eventually?
I don't think so. Why do you? Well, let me tell you why I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to happen because the hate is so deeply rooted in these people. That shit ain't going nowhere.
Right. We're not talking about hate right now.
Okay, but a lot of that,
right,
especially the other side, the mob that stormed that Capitol, in my opinion, a lot of that shit is based off of a lot of hate. Now, don't get me wrong, I agree with some of the fights that they got when it comes to fighting for not allowing government to control you and fighting against these vaccines and fighting against the agenda as far as this coronavirus. I agree with all of that, but there's a deeper issue going on within them people. Okay, so for me, I think it would be nice if we can all come together, stop the hatred. You hear it? This is one of the joints that I wrote right now that's talking about stuff like that. The 99% versus the 1%, but that ain't never going to happen. It ain't never going to happen. Sadly, it would be nice. It would be beautiful. The world would be such a much beautiful place. But guess what? That hate that they got, that has been taught for many years and many centuries, it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, we're not talking about the hate part of it. That's what I'm saying. I understand the hate part of it. We're not talking. I'm saying let's leave the hate part about it and let's look at the ideology of it. It's the same. It's the same. Black people still complaining. We're complaining about how the government always brushes us off in the way they treat us when it comes to the laws, right?
Okay.
These white Trump voters have the same ideology. They feel like they've been looked over.
Okay.
And it's the same ideology. It's just different on different sides of it. Only difference is black people don't have the entitlement that the white people feel they have. Well, I'm not gonna say that we don't have it. We don't act like we don't act like we have the entitlement that white people have. The white people who stormed that Capitol. That was entitlement. That was, you know what? You're not gonna take something from me that I never had. You know?
Okay.
And
all right.
That's the difference between Black Lives Matter and the Trump voters. They stormed the Capitol off of entitlement. And honestly, that's what
Black people are out there, but the thing is, we gotta remember, it's not just black people out there when it comes to Black Lives Matter.
Right.
The people that's out there are fighting against the ones that are killing black people at an alarming rate, like our lives do not matter. And there's many different people in all different races out there, because people are tired of the shit, right? It's affecting everybody.
Exactly.
And so that's why they're out there. The other side, like the lady said, we don't know what they fighting for. They fighting for, you said entitlement? Well,
it's
you know.
entitlement. They're feeling like they deserve whatever they ask for, and it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, that's because society has given them that since day one.
Right.
The minute that the change have came, okay, that's why they said make America great again, because the moment that change actually started to somewhat happen, but we know it ain't happened like that, they can't believe that shit, and they like, oh hell no. There's no way you're gonna take away, like you said, my entitlement, basically.
Right, because for them to feel equal to us means they're losing something.
That's deep. Say that shit again.
For those people to feel like they're losing something, to be equal to us, they're losing something. For them to feel like they're going to be equal, they're losing something. And that's what's happening there. They feel like they're losing it. For black people to gain anything, they're losing. Because
that's a damn shame.
These were the same people in June, July, August. They was marching with their guns, talking about we're gonna back the blue. And then now they out there beating and stomping the blue.
Well, not all of the blue, because some of the blue was down with that shit, which I guess we going to talk about that in a minute. But, you know, a lot of them was rolling with them. And a lot of them people that was in that group of people were people that worked inside of these places. So before we even get into that, let me ask you this. Trump get out of office. Biden's in office. But we see what just happened here. We see what went down, correct? Mm-hmm. Tell me how you feel about the people that's still going to be in office once Trump leave, but still got the same morals and deep-rooted hate in them and want the same thing that he wanted. They're still going to be there.
Right.
So what change do you think is going to happen when Biden become president?
Honestly, it is the change. Honestly, it's not really going to happen unless we do what we did in Georgia. Start removing them, voting them out. I'm going to tell you what happened in Georgia. Then that's what it upset a lot of people. That's why they stormed the Capitol and they feeling like, hey, we lost something. Because what happened in Georgia showed that when black people get out, because that's what happened in Georgia, is black people got out and said, we're going to vote. We're going to change our area locally, because that was all local senators that's going to be in Washington making changes for Georgia.
Okay.
Black people got out and said, this is what we want. And what these white people, the entitled white people are doing was about saying, hey, these votes that didn't count, we didn't want that to count, that wasn't supposed to happen, because they want to disenfranchise black votes like they've been used to doing.
Okay.
They have been used to saying, you know what, black votes don't count. When you look at why Joe Biden won, is because the black people got out there to vote. The black people got out there and said, you know what, we're done with this.
Okay. All right. So listen. Okay, go ahead.
And now they storming the Capitol saying we don't want those votes to count because they normally don't.
Right. The ones that are that's gonna still be in the office, okay, are just as guilty as Donald Trump. The ones that stood there and basically kind of had his back, lied for him, and all of that stuff, they are just as guilty, and those people are going to still be in office. So we got to figure out what the hell is going to go on here from this point on, because in my opinion, him leaving ain't going to really change much if the people that was down with him is still going to be up in there. They chose hate and racism over morals and doing the right thing. That's how I look at it. And Trump did not do this shit by himself. Okay, he had his homeboys on the stage helping him out, the ones that kept freaking regurgitating what he was saying in a different way, but they were backing him. His son was backing him. You know what I mean? So these people, all these people are at fault. The blood of those dead people that died at the Capitol is on their hands.
Now, I'm going to tell you like this. Donald Trump started it the day he came down that ladder. When he came down the escalator talking about Mexicans. And I said it a long time ago, when they are done with Mexicans, they're going to go after everybody else. And they did. Black people were like, we're not getting that. They're not talking about us.
Well, I can understand that because...
Right, but here it is now.
Okay.
He went after black people.
And they ain't never stopped coming after us.
Wait, but here's the difference now. We're out there, we're on the streets like we also... Over this year, there was marches across this whole country for Black Lives Matter for months. That ain't ever happened before. That confused a lot of white people. Why you think they were out there saying, you know what, we gotta back the blue? Because the message was changing. The message was going, oh, you know what? We gotta start making cops pay for what they do. You know why are they backing the blue? A lot of those people were cops. A lot of them felt like, you know what, wait. They're taking something from me. You got to understand, in America, right?
Right.
When we talk about the police departments and all of that, that is generational wealth.
Okay.
Off the backs of black people. Because where we live at, up in this area, there are jails. This is how they fund their incomes. This is how they fund their economy up
Absolutely.
here. With black lives being in jail. You start changing.
And then the rest is just collateral damage.
You start changing the way police handle their jobs and stop rushing to either kill people or throw them in jail. You start taking away from their money. You start taking away from their generational wealth. Because when you look at what was going on and you hear a lot of the cops, they were saying, hey, these were police officers that I was fighting. Some of them were showing their badge, letting them know, I'm a cop, I'm doing this for you. You know? So this is cops when they stormed that thing, it wasn't just, it was businessmen, it was actors, it was politicians, it was police officers, it was CEOs storming the Capitol because they felt like they are losing something. And Trump amped them up. Honestly, they are responsible for whatever they did. All Trump did was put the battery in their back.
Absolutely.
We can't blame Trump for what they did. We could say Trump started. He put the battery in their back.
No, well, in their back. You said it right.
He gave him the energy to run out and do it. They are responsible for what they did.
Right.
And now a lot of them realize and they want to apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was.
They ain't sorry. No. People most of the time when people say that, they just sorry they got
Here's
caught.
the ironic thing about it though, because over the summer when Donald Trump was talking about being law and order and all of that, he made an executive order that anybody who messed up statues or national monuments would get 10 years in federal time.
I bet you he's switching that shit up now. I bet you he's switching up when the looting starts, the shooting starts, okay? Because the same shit should apply now. You understand? Because he said all of that stuff when he thought it was about people standing up for black people's lives. And the minute that it became about what he wanted, then it was like, go home, we love you, you're great people. Oh, you changed the language now. And this is what's really freaking sad. And this is how I always go back to the fact of like when Donald Trump talked about certain things as far as the vaccines and government and stuff, there was some things where I was like, I could see where he's coming from, right? Yeah. And I also understand the business part, even down to the bankruptcy when it comes to businesses and stuff like that too, because people be acting like, oh, he claiming bankruptcy. So the hell what? If you a business owner and you trying to get out some shit, you ever seen under new management? Come on now, everybody do that. It's the law. I don't think in those type of situations he's breaking the law. But on the flip side of things, when we talk about who he is as a person, when it comes down to what he wants, to me, he used this whole president thing for him to be able to just get the things he want, to get more attention and to get more power. It had nothing to do with the people or the American people. The question is he different than any other president that was on the scene ever? Or did they all have the same type of agenda?
He was different in one way.
How?
He was a celebrity. He was a celebrity that demanded attention.
Okay.
That's the only difference. Everything else, he was exactly like, I look at him just like any other president. They just got in there, they got their power, they're going to make sure they do whatever they can to keep it.
Okay.
But his thirst for attention is what really hurt him.
Yeah, and now they banned him from Twitter permanently. Where else? Because he got banned from
Everything,
Instagram?
Shopify.
Yo, how you get banned from Shopify? Like
No,
I don't
even worse.
understand that.
I seen a tweet. Pornhub tweeted out.
Pornhub. If he banned from Pornhub, it's really going down. It's going down, yo.
I'm gonna see if I can find it so I can share it. But on Twitter, Pornhub was like, we banned him from our site too.
Oh my God.
I think it was just satire. I think they were just BSing around, but it was funny though. I was cracking up. Somebody shared that shit. I was
I'm
like,
sure
oh shit.
he'll get on that shit and try to make sure that, you know,
Yeah,
look.
yeah.
Listen, anybody that's tuned in right now, we want to thank you guys and thank y'all for your support. If you're watching this and it says live, make sure you share this live right now. Shout out to everybody who always tunes in and share the show. We really appreciate you guys. We see y'all. And, yeah, we appreciate y'all. So I just wanted to chop it up with y'all real quick and say that and put that in real quick. So anyway, let's take a little break real quick and let's get into this commercial break. Are you prepared for that commercial break, sir? All right, so listen, we're about to get into this commercial break. So listen, keep us locked in. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Peace.
Evolve CBD infused therapeutic wellness wine. A beautiful blend in a bottle. Book us now to host your next wine tasting or host your own. Evolve is infused with the finest CBD organic hemp flower. We do pop-up shops, private parties, sipping pins. We also sell gift baskets, and we can be a vendor at your next event. Evolve is love, and to love is to evolve. It's tasteful, classy, and elegant. Contact me now to place your order.
Do you need to move and don't want the hassle or stress of doing it yourself? I'm sure you already have enough to worry about. Moving can be stressful and time-consuming, especially when you have many other things you need to handle. Well, let us take your stress and anxiety away. Smooth Move is a veteran-owned company, and we create a stress-free experience with personalized service for every type of move. We also specialize in serving the vulnerable population. So what are you waiting for? Contact us now at 845-800-9095 or visit our website at www.smoothmove-llc.com to get your free quote and let us get you moving on the right track. Smooth Move, a company you can trust.
What's up, y'all? We are back. I hope y'all enjoyed that commercial break. We're about to get back into this topic. And again, I want to remind you guys that the topic is what's storming into the Capitol about race or about politics. So let us know what y'all think in the comment section and give us your feedback on how you feel about how this whole thing went down. Now, I want to talk to you about, black people. And if we think that this fight is our fight, because first of all, we live in this country, right? So, and you fought for this country, but overall, is this our fight?
Not at all.
And explain to me why.
It's not our fight because, like I said earlier, this fight is about entitlement. And it was white Trump voters who, well, now I'm not going to say white Trump voters. It was Trump voters in general because it was a mixture of, all races and that. They were all fighting for entitlement. They feeling like they were left out of something.
Left out of something.
Well, they were left out of their votes.
Okay, because they felt like the election was stolen from them, right? Because that's why they there. They feel like the election was stolen from them. So in order for Trump to hand over the president to what's his name, Joe Biden, right? Mm-hmm. they feel like, oh, hell no, it's not going down because our votes didn't count. Y'all stole our votes and this voters fraud and all this other stuff, right? And Trump made sure that he kept repeating that over and over and over to make sure that he got into their minds, because Trump is no fool. And y'all can say he's stupid all he want, but he ain't that stupid, because guess what? He know that all he got to do is keep saying the right things to the people who will believe them. And when I watched the video of this lady that was sitting there crying because they maced her, and she was like, yeah, because it's a revolution, and she was going crazy, and I'm like, damn, he really got into these people's heads.
Do you know that was fake?
It was?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes, they caught it. A cameraman, as they were watching, somebody caught it. She had an onion in here, so when she was wiping her face, she was faking.
So wait.
Somebody caught the onion in the rag.
Okay, what I'm saying is this. So was the whole shit fake, even the person recording it? Or was she just being fake about it?
Well, I can't say whether the person who was recording it, because I don't know who was recording it.
Okay.
But I do know that what I've seen is that she was faking that. She had an onion in the rag. They slowed it down to catch the onion, and when she was wiping her eyes, when she put her face in the rag to cry, it was with the onion.
That is a damn shame, yo. I cannot freaking believe that.
Yeah,
this
you
is
gotta look this on the internet, yo.
This is
all over
unbelievable.
the internet. I didn't see the actual the first video. I seen somebody after they caught her in the live. And that's why now I seen the video, because I first seen they played the video the first time, and then they slowed it down to show the onion. She had an onion in her hand, in the rag.
And that's what I'm saying about media. It's like, everybody got their own station that they watch to get the news from. But it's like, no matter where you go and what you're listening to, everything is controlled information. That's why sometimes the best news is when people go live.
Yeah, and then that's not even real, because that's also bias. It all depends on what side of it you're on.
So basically, all I want to know is this. When you look at the video and everything that's going on, I seen footage of the guards actually opening up the gate and letting them people in there. So we talk about them storming the Capitol. I did see some people look like, that was working, that was trying to fight against it. But besides that, there was people that worked there that was letting them in.
Yeah, it's a bad apple and everything. That's the issue with policing. That is the issue black people are having in the black community with policing. You have good cops, and you have the few that'll put every single cop's life at risk doing dumb shit. And those were the guys, the bad apples.
I think, also when we look at stuff like this, the part that really troubles me and really upsets me is the fact that we sit here, we have these conversations, we act like we want them to go, justice should be served. These people should get in trouble. These people should go to jail. All these different things should happen. But let's really look at the situation here. When these people go to jail, if they go to jail or if they get charged and they go before a judge and they go before all these people that's supposed to really, uphold the law, these people think just like them. So do you really think justice is going to get served? I personally don't. There's no, when I hear people say, we're going to take this to court, with who? The rest of the racists that's sitting on the top two that don't give a damn? So who are you really taking it to? Or you taking it to the next person up the ladder that thinks and feels the same way as the rest of them? So how is justice ever going to be served when the racist is sitting at the top?
I don't know. In this situation, I think because of the magnitude of what it is, nobody wants to stick their name on that. Nobody wants to stick their name as protecting treason or terrorists.
Okay.
Except for idiots. Don't get me wrong, you got a few. But I don't think no judge, lawyers that you're going to have lawyers that's going to have to do their job. But I don't think no judge sitting at the top of that is going to want to stick his neck to say, hey, you know what, this wasn't that bad of a crime. Because of the magnitude of it. Now, I could be wrong, but I think a lot of them, yes, they will do some time.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I don't really have no faith in the justice system at all, especially when it comes to black people, period.
But unfortunately, you know what? It's not black people they're dealing with. Here's the thing why I say it's going to be some. It's collateral damage. They got to make it look like they're doing something.
Yeah, faking it.
Right, yes.
They're going to fake it.
That's what I'm saying. Some will go to jail. Not all of them. It was thousands. There's no way in the world you're going to get thousands of people to go to jail. They're not going to get all of them. But the ones that they know
they were. Let me stop. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if they were black, if that was Black Lives Matter or any form of a black group doing anything like that, we would have never got that close to the Capitol. We know this. So I don't even know why we're surprised that, you know.
I'm not surprised, but check this out. What you just said just made me think about what is that? The NFA? NFAC? Not fucking around coalition. Isn't that guy locked up because they said that he pointed a gun at them at the FBI, whatever, and they were on the roof and he was down on the ground or whatever the case may be. So you have a black man that is upholding the law. He has the right to bear arms. He's the Second Amendment, right? But he's in jail right now. You understand? So to me, it's the law is never ever going to protect people like us. It's never going to protect people like us. It was never made to protect people like us. But we keep depending on a law and everybody keep fighting. Now, this whole shit need to be broken down and rebuilt.
And if, unfortunately, and I keep saying this, you know what? We keep acting like that's a surprise. We know it's not built for us. So we have to start doing things where we control the outcome of it. Now, I'm going to tell you now.
How do you do that?
I'm going to tell you like this, right? We have to, for black people to do anything, and this is what I was going to say about Donald Trump. We could say a lot of things about Donald Trump. But Donald Trump in himself united 75 million people with his words. Right or wrong, they stood behind him. That's what we need in our community. If we get that in our community, it would be a different thing.
I don't think that's going to ever happen.
Unfortunately, but with that attitude, it's never going to happen.
Here comes the switch up. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Look, it will be a beautiful thing, right? We got some, but we got a lot that ain't.
Right,
and everybody that's skin folk ain't kin folk. So let's get that right. So you can't. So listen, I'm about standing up and talking about for our people and stuff like that. I ain't got no problem with white people. I don't have no problem with any other race of people, right? However, I do got a problem with hate and racism. And when I'm speaking on certain issues, it's not about hate. It's about really speaking on factual information based off of the hate that is giving to us as black people. Only person getting offended and getting mad at that is somebody who's deeply racist themselves and really don't understand that. So it offends them and it bothers them because they see themselves in what we're talking about or the statements that's being made. That's the people that's getting offended. But when we talk about black people, okay, we do got to get our shit together. We do have to know how to stick together. Black people love to make fun of shit, always want to make things a joke, or always want to talk about the Jews and the Asians and the Arabs. However, these people know how to stick together and make shit work for them and they people. Y'all want to talk about it's 15 Mexicans in the car? Well, guess what? There's only one car note. They saving up so everybody can have a paid car while everybody else want to drive a car that they can't afford, right? There's different ways. Oh, it's a whole bunch of people living in the house? Okay. It's a whole bunch of people living in the house. You know what they doing? They coming from their countries. They're coming over here. They're building. They're setting up. They're saving up. And they're getting enough so they could be financially free while we are too busy in competition with each other. And I know this is off the Capitol point, but it's still connecting the dots. We got to get a lot of things together. It's a lot of stuff that our people got to get together, okay? And stop worried about every damn body else. And even when they move in silent. Black people always got to talk. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. They move in silent. We don't know what they doing until it's done.
No,
you got to know. Move in silence.
When they stormed the Capitol, everybody knew.
Yeah, they knew that part.
But I'm gonna tell you where I think I have to disagree
people know
with you.
when Black Lives Matter, they marching.
I'm gonna have to tell you why I disagree with you. We keep putting up the light on the people who don't stick together, and that's true. But you got a lot of black people who are sticking together. But the problem with it is they're fractioned in different groups. That's what the issue is. The issue is not that they're not sticking together. It's just that there's too many groups. it's two. They were separated into this group over here, this group over there, this group. If we combine these groups together for one idea, the same idea, then we could get something accomplished.
Listen, let me just say this. I hear what you said.
There are black people that don't want to get it. They don't want to get involved. They don't want to stay.
Black people who don't want to get involved. Yes, we have black people that stick it together in little tiny groups. But here's where the problems start. The problems start here. Everybody don't understand that people want to always be the smartest Negro in the room. Instead of really just coming together and saying, okay, you might want to do it this way. I got a different way I'm going to do it. But the end goal and the end result is all the same. And that's for our people to come up and uplift each other and be in a better predicament and stop allowing people to hold us back and suck out of our community and take things from us and don't give back to us, right? So with that being said, okay, you got these people, when everybody's doing their own thing, here come conflict. And here come people beefing. And this one, every time you ever pay attention to a debate, when people are debating, especially when it's our people, they trying to one-up you. It's always trying to, oh, wait, hold up. But nah, you didn't say this right. Nah, but hold up. They always trying to make you feel like you said something wrong so they could be the smartest Negro in the room. And it's not about that. And that's the problem. And that's a lot of reasons why our people, because there's a lot of great people that if they came together, they would be very powerful people. But you got egos that get in the way, and that's an issue. That is an issue. So yes, there are people everywhere, our people in all different groups in all different places, they got their own little clique, right? But you know what that is? It's individual fingers instead of a whole motherfucking fist. And that's what Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about in his book. We are more powerful. I don't understand what's so funny about that. We are more powerful like this than like this. If I smack you with my one finger, that shit ain't doing nothing. But if I punch your ass in the face with my fist, the difference, you're going to feel the difference. The impact will be different. So that is more, that to me, that's what it's about. So I'm curious to know why you laughed.
Say it like this. I get where you're saying from, all right?
Coming from.
Yeah, what you're saying. I understand what you're coming from. But let's start, I'm gonna keep this on the neutral part of it, all right?
Okay.
The reason we having the issues we having right now is by design. We cannot act like this, black people are not like this because we just like that. This is designed since slavery for us to never, it's always been designed. Somebody got to be smarter than the other. Somebody got to be the strongest man in the room. Somebody got to be the smartest man in the room. Somebody got to be the best looking. Somebody got to be the lighter or darker person in the room. That was always by design. So the problem is we have to get out of that slave mentality. So we can't be surprised when black people don't stick together. We can't be surprised when you see two great people both fighting for the same cause but not sticking together, because the design is not to, because it's always going to be that one person that is not a part of either group to point out, why is this guy doing something you're not, or why is this person, because it's always that. The best way to keep, what is it? The art of war is to keep people separated from the inside. And that's what they've been practicing. That is on the whole time, is our black community is keeping us separated. That's why you think when you look at the churches, they keep the churches. Here's what the churches, you go to church here, then you got another church over here, you got another church over here, you never got another church over here. You know what, the only thing that's happening in the black church, in the black community with them churches, they're getting paid. But you know what's not coming out, what's not happening with that money is not trickling back into the community.
They're not the only people taken from the community.
Right, and that's where I'm starting at. Everybody's taken from the black community.
But whose fault is that?
It's black people's fault. But you got to understand.
Okay, because this accountability has to
let me finish.
Come in at some point.
Let me finish. But it's also
because we could blame all day.
You're not listening though. You want to be because you're trying to be the smartest Negro.
No. You trying to be the smartest Negro in the room. That's why you was laughing when I was speaking. Especially when I brought up Dr. Claude Anderson. I couldn't understand for you to laugh at that. I'm looking disappointed. Like, what's up with you? That should never be a joke. That shit is for our people and it's real.
I'm gonna tell you now. I'm not gonna be the guy standing around talking. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just saying what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm saying. All right. Here's what I'm saying to you. What's going on?
Okay.
What's going on is, and you made me lose. with the design of what's going on, yes, we black people have to be held accountable. But if it's starting now where we're saying, hey, you know, you still got black people out there going, oh, I won't vote. But what happens is we have to start designing and changing the community that works for us. And it starts there.
It starts with us.
Right, but you
Point blank.
But you got to understand, in order for that to happen, what's happening with black people is that they have been, what these people have stormed the Capitol for over is what's been happening to us. We have been disenfranchised in every way to make a change. So, and I'll say this,
I'm
and
not
I start
saying
with
that what they did was right.
Right, but I'm saying,
but like you said, how many people he got together to be able to do that? That many people, however many people.
But you got to understand, he used hate to do it.
I get that.
With black people, unfortunately, and I'm not going to say that there's not hateful black people, but in our culture, it's never about hate. That's why they use the church, and we always praying to fix stuff. We're not out there saying, hey, if I want something done, I'm not waiting on God to do it. I'm gonna get out there and do it myself. Mm-hmm. So that we got for us we have to get out of that mentality. We have, and I'm gonna tell you now, it is changing because you do have a lot of our younger people not going to church saying, I'm not waiting on God to fix any of my issues.
Right. I mean, that's, listen, I ain't got nothing against, I believe in God, right? At the end of the day, but I believe that you got to put work behind that.
Right.
I think that our people have been taught to just pray and don't do nothing else. And that right there to me is definitely
it's a failure on our black people.
It's a failure, and it's something taught by your oppressor. Don't fight me back. Just sit back and pray to the God that I taught you to pray to. Okay, so that's why when I tell a lot of people I don't go to church or I don't do this, but as soon as I say that, they automatically look at me like I'm the devil and like I don't believe in God because they don't even know how to separate the two. The minute I say I don't go to church, that automatically in their brain means that you don't believe in God, because they can't separate the fact that you could believe in God and praise Him yourself without praising the one that your oppressor gave you. Point blank. And not to go off topic, but I'm just saying it is what it is.
It is.
But let's talk about, there's people at that Capitol that ended up dying there, right? There's people that ended up dying there, and there's people that are willing to die for Donald Trump. How many black people is willing to die now? I'm talking about the ones living now. A lot of people already died for us to be here right now. To this point right now, everybody, and no matter what you're doing, right now, at this very moment, you wouldn't have been able to do this shit if somebody didn't fight for us and die for us. Who is willing to do that now?
Unfortunately, it's many of us who's willing to die for this country. We just haven't put our people first. I'm guilty of it. I'm gonna be honest. If black people like me come home and start teaching our people how to use guns, and I'm an advocate for the Second Amendment. If you don't have a felony and you don't have any reason you should know how to use a gun, you should be able to protect yourself. You should not require the police to come to your house after everything is done to protect you. We have to get to that point where we're willing to, and I agree with you, we have to get to that point where we're willing to die for our cause. Unfortunately, we're not. Well, I'm not going to say we're not. Unfortunately, we haven't shown that we are. Because there are groups out here, and Not Fucking Around Coalition is one of them groups that's saying, hey, I will fight you back. But by design, the leader was removed.
Okay, they always go after the leader, right?
Right, but see, and that's the issue. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, and the reason I say this, and that where I come back on our people is because the guy who shot and killed, what's his name, Kyle Rittenhouse or whatever his name is. Those racists got together to make sure he got $2 million to get out of jail.
Ain't that something?
We have to start doing the same thing.
It ain't gonna happen. Let me tell you why. Two things. There's two reasons, the at fault and not at fault, of why black people doing something like that is difficult. One, black people don't even trust. Where that money going? Where's that money going? Oh, they think they going. People ain't putting their money into that because they think that somebody's going to scam them, right? So most black people, and I'm not saying all, but I'm saying some black people they're not going to trust just donating their money to just somebody and not knowing where it's going. That's number one. Number two, those who, actually it's three, those who are in position to give the money, some of them don't give a damn no more because they feel like they done made it out the hood, they doing good, it's not affecting them, and they got their friends over here and they don't give a damn about what's going on back here because they're not being affected, so they're not going to put money into stuff like that. And then you got those who really want to. But guess what? They can't afford to do it because they're struggling as it is, still trying to catch up.
We can't make no excuses for that because some of the people that still trying to catch up are you know,
I'm not making this. Okay, go ahead.
There are. I'm not gonna say there are not black people that's not struggling, right? Mm-hmm. There are some people, black people, who are struggling by their own accord.
Okay.
Right? They are just like white people. We have Americans all across this country who are in a struggling position by their own. Now, you know, there are some people who work jobs that just don't make enough to get out the struggle.
Right. Okay. So
you know, if to donate $1 is not that hard.
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna explain to you why, and I'm gonna give you 3 different examples of white people, and I'm not gonna say white people, but races bailing out people who've done something wrong to a black person. I'm gonna give it.
And tell me why you think they doing that.
I explained it. Race. It's a racism.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you that racism is the most powerful tool in the country, and that's after ignorance. And I'm gonna say it to you why.
Ignorance, that goes hand in hand to me. Racism and ignorance is hand in hand.
No, it's 2 different things though. You could be ignorant and not racist.
That's true.
And I'm gonna explain to you. Let me finish though. Here's real quick. I'm gonna explain this 3 different occasions, right? Mm-hmm. Where white people bailed out, or I'm not gonna say white people, racists bailed out. Mike Brown's killer, the cop who killed Mike Brown, $2 million. He's gone. And they put a GoFundMe account. They put a GoFundMe account together for Mike Brown, the cop who killed Mike Brown, so that he could be free when he got out of jail. He would never have to worry about working again. He got about well over $2 million. George Zimmerman, even though he was not white and admitted, got a nice decent amount of money to pay for the lawyer who got him off of that, because it wasn't him. He couldn't afford that lawyer. GoFundMe came together to make sure that they got him out, and what they were protecting wasn't nothing other than the Second Amendment right to kill. I'm not gonna say the Second Amendment right to bear arms, because what happens is you got to remember since we're off the subject, right? And I'm gonna say,
well, it still kind of connects the dots, because you know this is why people are outraged and mad, and this is what is fueling the fire, right? So
the stand your ground law, right? Mm-hmm. If George Zimmerman would have lost that and ended up going to jail, it has set a precedent that it's okay to, you know, you could shoot somebody, and if they fight back, then you can't use the stand your ground. Because he used the stand your ground because Trayvon Martin fought back. If they were protecting that idea that I could come in, I could start a fight with you, and if you fight me back, I can kill you.
Okay.
They were protecting that. And then you got what happened with this guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, was using the same stand your ground. I was standing my ground. They were trying to kill me. I killed them first. They are protecting that. And I'm going to tell you why it makes it easier. And I guarantee you, I wouldn't put it past, it's politicians, cops, and people in that nature who's actually helping protect us. Because if you got a regular civilian, you can say, hey, I was standing my ground, you open the door for a cop to feel like, hey, I was protecting myself. People are more likely to believe a cop who feared for his life than a regular person. And that's what they're protecting. They're protecting, I feared for my life, because as soon, George Zimmerman opened the door for I was protecting my life. I was fearing for my life. Because after that, that is the go-to for when a cop shoots somebody. They come right up Guns drawn, I was fearing for my life. I feared for my life.
Yeah, that's always the case. That's always their line to get out of it. They get in there. They take these trainings. They have to learn what the law is, and they know how to take what they learned and use it in their advantage to be able to murder and kill people and get away with it. Is every last one of them like that? No, they are not. There are some good people out there,
but they
that
weren't
are not
using.
like that.
At one point, they were not using. I fear for their life. They just used it. You know what? This guy was committing a crime, this and that. They had to prove that this person was committing a crime. Even though they would get off, they had to find a way to finagle the law to make it look like that person was wrong. Now they don't even have to act like the person is wrong. They just have to fear.
Well, for me, the way I look at it is like this. All of this stuff stems back to hate. It stems back to the aggression, the feeling of wanting to be able to murder, get away with stuff, and to be in control and feel like they are better.
Yeah, that's what Storming the Capitol was. That was entitlement.
Right. Better, above others, entitled, all of the above. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, because we're going to close this out, at the end of the day, when I look at everything that happened, I just know that if they were black, this would have ended differently. There would have been many body bags filled up and more people locked up. But America have shown us once again what they are truly about. And I personally do not believe that when it is all said and done, there will be any real true justice served, even though there's a lot of people speaking up about what happened. So bringing it back to, is this our fight though?
No,
because
it's not.
we look at this. I'm looking at what happened, and I'm only comparing if one person or a group of people did it versus another group of people. But when I look at everything as a whole, I'm like, well, I don't know if this is really totally about us as of yet.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's coming though. Don't get it twisted.
I'm going to say it like this, all right? I'm going to tell you why when we say if this was black people, it would have ended differently. I agree, but I agree in a different way. You know why? Because through the life of this, black people have never tried it. So it would have never got that far. They've always been prepared for what they think, out of their fear of what they believe black people to be. That's why in June, when Black Lives Matter was coming to the Capitol to protest, that's why they had the National Guard out there. They had that fear of what they believe to be black people, even though that was never the intention. And that's why I feel like it would have ended different regardless, because we're not doing that. You haven't seen black protesters saying, you know what, we're going to storm the Capitol. It's never been an idea. Not when it's not at the level of what you see right now. What you're seeing right now is millions of people saying that needed to happen, and they deserved everything they got. You're not going to see that with black people. That's why it would have ended differently. We're not doing it. We're not going to the Capitol with guns talking about we're gonna change the laws with weapons.
Okay.
So to me, it's throwing something out there that we know our people aren't doing. No time soon. We know we ain't doing that. I'm gonna honestly say we ain't doing it. I'm waiting.
I mean, there was the Million Man March.
Yeah, it was 1 million people walking up just to talk.
Nothing happened?
Yeah, nothing happened.
Well, I don't know, and that's what I'm talking about. So let's say, should they have done something? Should they have done what we just seen the other day?
Eventually, it should happen.
Okay. So then now maybe we contradicting ourselves here then. Are these people really bad people, or is it just that they're not fighting for what we want?
No,
right? Let's talk about this.
And that's why I'm going to say it to you. That's why I said to you, it was needed to show these politicians that there's no fear. They did it for all the wrong reasons.
And another thing that I see, is that it also showed a weakness in how easy it is to get into these places. If somebody or the real, and I don't want to say real, but I'm going to say real terrorists from other countries want to come over and do shit, we always look so vulnerable for them to just easily get in. But we also know it got to be inside jobs to do it.
Yeah,
I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to let you close out. But for me, I'm going to tell y'all like this. I don't know. Like I think that this is a lot that we need to be thinking about, and it's also questionable on if we could say that we should be doing it and then turn around and judge them for doing it, then are they really doing something wrong, and are we being hypocrites at the end? We gotta think about that.
Well, you can say whatever. You can call me a hypocrite all you want.
I'm not calling you.
I'm not saying that. I'm gonna tell anybody.
Like, damn, you want to fight at the end of the show.
No, what I'm saying to you, and the reason why I say it's a necessary evil, I always feel like, because you know what, I was listening to these people. I've been listening to all these people who got on there and say, oh, well, we're doing this because our voices are not being heard.
Okay.
You know? The reason I'm saying it's a necessary evil because it had to be done to show, hey, it can happen. It's about, and now, should it have done? The reasoning behind it is wrong. I'm against every single reasoning behind it. If it has to be, I think it should be done when, like, in a situation, and that's why I say where you know, when you look and you go, well, black people are hypocrites if we believe it. Our lives are being taken in the middle of the street every day, regardless of whether we're innocent or guilty. So at some point, when you at war in your own neighborhood, you have to fight back. When the politicians in the Capitol aren't doing anything for you, the difference between us and them is they're getting things done for them. They're just entitled to more.
Okay, is that your closing statement?
Yep.
All right, so listen, we're going to end it like that. Big shout out to everybody. Make sure you share this with someone and put your comments in the comment section to tell us what y'all think about this situation. Was storming the Capitol about race, or was it about politics? These are just our opinions, and just like everybody else got theirs, we got ours. But anyway, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. We are out, and we will see you next week. Peace.
From Duh.